Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's presidential debate. This year, we will be reliving the Hillary versus Donald experience as they battle out the meaning behind American literature. Let's jump right into the action.
American literature recognizes the essence of our nation and the potential for good that comes with its freedoms.
Wrong.
As seen in many works, this literature specifically idolizes and admires the American dream as well as the benefits that come along with being a citizen of the United States.
Wrong.
No, that is not wrong. Look at the adventures of Huckleberry Finn and how Huck chases freedom as he runs away from his father.
Could you be more specific by what you mean when you say the American dream before we continue any further?
The American dream is best defined by James Truslow Adams, who states that it is that dream of a land in which life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement. In saying this, he expresses that America is the land of opportunity, a place where everyone is equal and has an equal opportunity for individual successes based on their actions.
I believe for the first time in this woman's life, she has said something we can trust. No, not what American literature is, but instead what the American dream is and what it represents. What she is missing is that American literature is intended to do what I intend to do. Fix the wrongs in our society and make America great again.
Here we go again. How does American literature do that? Long Day's Journey into Night, in which the father has earned a fortune, is a perfect example that when you work hard, you can overcome poverty, thus proving my point.
Wrong. Look at Death of a Salesman, in which Willie Loman Sr. has worked himself to the point of mental degradation and has nothing to show for it except bills to pay and an empty wallet, and a place on the list of the unemployment. In fact, he tells his friend, funny, you know, after all the highways and the trains and the appointments and the years, you end up worth more dead than alive, inferring that his life insurance was worth more than he could earn. At the end of the day, the man who had worked his entire life was incapable of obtaining financial security, thus disproving the American dream. The purpose of this literature, American literature, is to protest society's weaknesses and improper ideologies such as this, in an attempt to make America great again.
Yeah, okay, how in the world does it do that?
Let me tell you, I can read. Many of you may be sitting here thinking that I can't read, but I can read. And I read this novel. It was called Catch-22. And in this novel, the failure in the efficiency of bureaucracy is painful. In one instance, Sergeant Tozer refuses to do anything about the leftover equipment from a now dead man that is in Yossarian's tent. It is written, he, the dead man, had stopped at the operations tent in order to inquire the way to the orderly room tent and had been sent right into the action because so many men had completed the 35 missions required then. Because he had never officially gotten into the squadron, he could never officially be gotten out. And the Sergeant Tozer sensed that the multiplying communications relating to the poor man would continue reverberating forever. In this instance, Sergeant Tozer shows his deficiency as a leader because he fails to adequately deal with the situation, even though he believes it will then continue reverberating in the future. This instance shows a protest against the current state of the government. Even though this book was written ages ago, this purpose is still relevant. Even today, our democracy is failing to serve the people. It's time for a change and time to make America great again.
I keep saying that and saying.
Now, I would happen to disagree with you on that point, Donald. Catch-22 is a wonderful novel, but the events in the book are presented to simply show the reader how taxing war is on those who are involved.
Oh please, let's not talk about taxes. Nonetheless, Colonel Cathcart's continuous raising of the required mission number has barely anything to do with the effect of the war. It may represent how the war seemed endless, but it mostly shows the failure of the higher-ups to successfully do their job. Although the colonial could have relieved the men who completed the general number of missions at any time, he kept them trapped inside the system, and he then took away their freedoms, and in doing so, thus failed to be a successful leader.
So, like, you in the last 4 years?
Okay. Can we get back to the debate, please? Hillary, would you like to continue with what you were saying?
Yes, Lester, I would, thank you. As I had been saying, America is here to have peace. We chase the rewards of hard work, follow our dreams, strive for greatness, and we do so in peace.
No. Americans like to argue, just like we are right now. We like to see problems, pick sides, and defend them no matter what. This can be seen in our nation's involvement in Nicaragua, Haiti, the sugar intervention, the Dominican Republic, Korea, Vietnam, the Dominican Civil War, the communist insurgency in Thailand, Panama, etc. It can also be seen in American literature. Take Native Son.
Not immigrant son?
No, Native Son. In this novel, Bigger Thomas kills a woman. However, he did accidentally in an effort to save himself. This young black man, attempted to help a brutally drunk white teenager return to her room. This was bravery. If this man was caught in her room, his life would be over. However, as he was returning her to her bed, her mother stumbled in. Bigger Thomas then held his hand over his daughter's mouth so that she could not reveal that she was awake, and thus bring her mother to the bedside. In doing so, Bigger accidentally killed this young white woman. It is written, he turned and a hysterical terror seized him. He waited tensely, afraid to move for fear of bumping into something into the dark and betraying his presence. Frenzy dominated him. His fear for being caught, simply because he was black and would be persecuted beyond reasonable lengths, led to the death of this woman. This shows the devastating effect of black persecution, thus showing the protesting purpose of this novel.
Now here I would happen to disagree. This novel shows what a lack of hard work can cause. Bigger Thomas did not have any passion in life and had no goals. He went completely against the American dream and disobeyed the law, thus landing him in jail. As someone who wants to deport thousands of people for disobeying the laws, I would have expected you to see this as well.
That is where you are wrong. I am here to make America great again. I recognize that this man was oppressed by society, as it was the purpose of this novel to make that well known. Yes, he was arrested for breaking the laws, but it is time for the laws to be changed, society to change, the nation to change, and the world as a whole to change.
Yes, Donald, and I have been saying this for years.
Yet you...
I have been saying this for...
Yet you...
I have been saying this for...
Yet you continue to discuss American literature as if it shows America as perfect. I stand here, admit that there were faults, and promise that changes will be made. Huck Finn never stood idle as his freedom was threatened. He went out and acted against the wrongs that faced him and Jim. Even though Jim was free, Huck had to help him on multiple occasions to avoid being enslaved. Jim even needed to act as if he was enslaved to avoid actually being enslaved on some occasions.
You act as if the whole country needs a total renovation.
It does. This country especially is long overdue.
How can you say such a thing?
Since the establishment of the country, we have needed a change.
What do you mean? This country was established on the basis that every man is created equal.
That may be.
Every man is created equal.
That may be written, but it is not what it is expressed by the actions of our founders. Ever since we have arrived on this continent, we have suppressed the natives who have lived here.
Donald, the past is the past.
Is that what Monica said at the family reunion?
Very mature, Donald. That does not change the fact that the past is the past.
But the past is still present. In the Lone Ranger and Tonto fistfight in heaven, the effects of that discrimination are still present. The text states, still, Indians have a way of surviving, but it's almost like Indians can't easily survive the big stuff. Mass murder, loss of language and land rights, it's the small things that hurt them most. The white waitress who wouldn't take the order, Tonto, the Washington Redskins, thus showing the discrimination that is still present for the Native Americans.
Okay, so then maybe our society is still discriminating Native Americans. What is your point?
My point is that all of the novels I've mentioned identify an injustice in society. In this way, they're a form of a protest by bringing attention to some existing flaw. This returns to my initial statement that American literature is and should be defined as argumentative or protest literature, as it questions the state in which we exist.
I think at this point we should conclude our live viewing of the 2020 presidential debate. Although I am paid to remain unbiased, I believe Donald has a point. American literature is based on identifying a societal failure and the means which to bring change. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into HMC News. We hope to see you tomorrow night.